Hey, everybody, it's me, John Ward, and welcome back, or actually just welcome to the very first double review. And today I have a very special guest, and that is
Me? Wow, look at
me.
that. That's phenomenal. I'm a special guest. I am the notorious OGP. You can find me on YouTube and Instagram and so on and so forth. And it is quite a pleasure to be here with you, Mr. Ward.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And because I was going to review these two films by myself, and then
Hmm.
you'd already watched one before me, and then you showed an interest in the other one, which I watched before you. So it's like, hey, let's just review them together.
Yeah, works out.
Yeah, and that would be Elevation and Red One.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um I so Elevation, that one you discovered through me. So you had no idea that this movie even existed?
I had not heard of it. No, and it's funny because after you mentioned it to me, I went out and I looked around to try and find where I could watch it, like in theaters or anywhere else, and I just could not find it, and it was pretty frustrating. So I it didn't get the publicity, the promotion, or anything that it really deserves. So I don't. Um, I don't understand why the production companies or the studios did what they did with this film. Um, we'll talk about how good it is or whatever, but it's definitely good enough. I mean, with the cast alone, that it should have been promoted. I should have heard of it. I do a movie review, horror movie Monday. Every Monday, I talk about the new movies that are coming out. It wasn't even on my radar, and so it's just crazy. But yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned it because it sounded like something that I really wanted to check out, and I did that, and because of that, now here we are, and I'm not sure how um, proficient or anything you may be at sharing this
I
stuff,
am not.
but
I am still learning that, so please feel
so
free.
down below. Well, I can't, but I
Oh,
put something. See that? So click on that and then put share screen. There you go. There it is. Elevation. That's a poster from the movie, and hopefully that's the elevation you were talking about, right? Because
yes, it
that's the
is.
one I
Yes,
want.
with Anthony
Yeah.
Mackie. And I forget what movie I saw in the theater, and this trailer popped up, and I'm just like, oh shit, that kind of looks like A Quiet Place, but in the snow. So
Yeah.
I want to see this movie, and then never heard about it coming out or anything. And then I went to one of my legal, not legal websites, and there it was. And it's
Yeah.
just like, wait, this movie's out? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I
Because
know. I had no
yeah, it
idea.
got no promotion or anything, which is unfair.
Yeah. It really, and I think you and I were talking the other day about movies that are pretty much designed to go to streaming, and that's where they're going to make their money. And that's got to be what they're thinking with this, is that maybe they just didn't see it having a major uh box office number, so they thought, you know what, forget advertising and just save that money, put that advertising money in our pocket. Let's shoot it over to Netflix or wherever it's going to wind up and get our money back that way. That's the only thing I could think, with the lack of promotion for this movie, why they would do that.
Yeah, like I've heard of the distribution company, which is Vertical. They've done a fair amount of stuff, but it's like production, Lyrical Media, Inspire Entertainment, King's Ransom Media. No idea.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea who these companies are.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so with my AMC app, I did find out finally it showed up. Oh, and now I can't even find it again. It showed up as something. Where I can't even see. It was here earlier, and now it's gone. Oh no, here it is. Okay, it's way down there. Yeah, AMC in Burbank, California. If I want to see a movie, it's playing at AMC Burbank. No showtimes. The AMC near me, Temecula, no showtimes. Tyler Galleria, a huge theater, no showtimes. So it's not playing at AMC theaters. I don't understand. This movie is definitely deserving of being seen in a theater. I'm sure I would have enjoyed seeing this in a theater.
Yeah, because to let people know what this is, it's so I'll read what the plot is here off of Wikipedia. So 3 years ago, civilization was wiped out by mysterious apex predators called reapers that emerged from sinkholes underground and exterminated most of humanity. Survivors live in pocketed communities that manage to evade the creatures so long as they are elevated at exactly 8,000 feet or above, where the creatures cannot touch them. And I will tell people there is going to be spoilers on this. So, because I want to talk about some of the stuff at the end. So there will be spoilers.
Yes.
So that and to me, it really seems like they could have taken this and maybe called it A Quiet Place Year 3. And just made the monsters where they hear things, and maybe they discovered that at a certain elevation, the creatures don't hear you, and that's something new that's discovered with them, and you just because the poster I don't think is good. I don't think that poster is very good.
Yeah, because I mean that's basically just the two of them, Anthony Mackie and Marina Beckerin, however you say her last name. It's basically just them, and with mountains in the background and snow. So it almost looks like it's going to be like a movie up in the Antarctic or Arctic or something.
Yeah, do
As
you still
opposed
have it?
to
Can you put it up?
sure, yeah. I mean, I could pull up the actual poster too, but this is like just a sideways angle of
Oh,
the
that's right. Yeah, yeah. It's just them
yeah.
standing there, which
So
is probably going to be more of like the Blu-ray
yeah.
cover or something.
Okay,
So
so there's that. But while you're looking at that, I'll pull up the actual poster. So, and their Wikipedia has a different one as well. But let me should be able to. Oh yeah, there you go.
see, I
So
don't think that's the worst because you got the like the whatever the like I don't know. It's supposed to be. I think that's supposed to be the creature's
like
tail.
the tentacles or the tails or something. Yes.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
and there's creatures all over. There's like three. There's one in front of them and two on the sides. And spoiler alert, this scene would had to have been taking place after the movie. But the crazy thing is, I don't remember a fucking snowstorm. They're like in a snowstorm.
yeah, they're not. That's the so this is something that I don't mind. I am the only person who likes always know what you did last summer because it takes place at a um like an off-season ski resort where it's just trees and dirt and mountains, but yet they
Yeah.
use the ski lifts, they use the lodge. I like doing stuff like that. I think that that's kind of fun. So in this, yeah, the poster is not 100% true, but it does take place way up in the mountains in Denver, and they do go to, which I loved, a like an abandoned ski resort. They go to there's the lodge. They have the
Yeah.
scene that takes place on the ski lift.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not in a. So I was a little disappointed that it wasn't like snow. There was just patches. of
Yeah,
snow
well,
around.
and I shared another one with you there. I don't know how well that one will
Oh,
turn out, but that's the one from Wikipedia, which,
that's the poster that I saw in the theater.
okay, and I like that's probably the best poster, because it doesn't really make it look like a snowstorm. They're just kinda in the mountains.
But you don't really
So
know what that stuff is. This is my least favorite, I
no.
have to tell you.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
what is that all around them? Like, what is, and it's supposed to be one of
Yeah.
the creatures, because the one of the things that, so when I rewatched it, because this is my second viewing, I really paid attention. And it seems like this should be a part two, because we get at the very beginning like a minute of radio and TV
Yeah.
announcements from like the news, or things of saying, um the like, we've had an earthquake, there's these sinkholes, these creatures are coming out, they've
Yeah.
killed everybody, and we can't stop them. And then it says 3 years later, and I'm like, oh, I wanted to see that.
Yeah. So for me, I'm okay with the fact that we didn't see that. We got the explanation, but at the end of this, and partly based on our conversations, I want a sequel to this. I
Yeah.
want to see more, and the sequel. Again, we said spoilers, so forewarned if you haven't seen Elevation. I want the sequel to be them. I want Anthony Mackie and Morena Baccarin to go search out the company, because I want it to be that these creatures were human made, because you find out they're machines. They're
So
not even creatures.
that's the ending, is the what is her name?
Morena Baccarin.
Okay, so I'm not going to remember that. So her character's name is Nina. So I'll call her
Oh,
Nina.
Nina. Yeah.
So she is a scientist, for lack of a better description,
Yeah.
and she has, for I guess 3 years or whatever it is, been trying to figure out a way of destroying these creatures. And they look like
Mhm.
big beetles.
Mhm.
They kind of look like the bugs from Starship Troopers. And finally, at the end, she's at the, and of course, this is the stuff I love. They end up going to the abandoned hospital, and
Mhm.
it's all destroyed. They end up going to the lab, which is in a different building that's all destroyed. And she finally figures out how to kill them with this bullet.
Yeah.
And when she fires it, it hits them, kills them. They kind of do this weird type of thing, and then they
Yeah.
explode upward.
Yeah.
And so when we see Nina and Mackie walk up to the pieces, he says they're like robots. They're machines.
Yeah.
Now, the thing I didn't like, and he does bring this up to her a couple times, is he goes, "Who would make this?" And she kind of looks up at like God, like she looks up at the heavens and stuff.
But
And I'm like,
they
No, because
they talk about her religious faith throughout the movie. So she is a, like, I don't know, Bible thumper or whatever. But I think a lot of that is because when you find out later in the movie that she had a family and she lost her family to this. So I think that that is her way, her character's way of holding on to her family's memory and hoping that they're in a better place.
which is fine. I have no problem with any of that until the end, because why would she think God would make these bugs machines? They were obviously made by
Oh,
man.
I didn't take it that way. I took it as up at, like, as in some alien sent them down or something. Is the way I,
Oh, you took, okay, okay. Well,
like,
that's a
because
different way of looking at
these
it.
were aliens that came from some other world. So, but
Okay, because
but I see what you're saying. I hadn't thought of that until now. Yeah, I don't know why she would think, unless maybe she this completely lost her faith. Um,
yeah, like
because of this,
her.
but I didn't see that happening. I didn't see that shift.
Yeah, see, and that's even seeing it twice. Is that's what I got? What was, she was looking up into heaven, or God made them, or
Mm,
something. But yeah, I could
mm,
see the aliens. I wish maybe that was a little more obvious,
yeah.
that's what she was referring to, because that's, and to go along with what you were saying, is she puts up this pirate flag that tells people that she found how to kill them. because I guess
Yeah.
she was the main person doing it. And all of a sudden, everybody starts creating these bullets. I love the drone usage in this. I love above the forest, and you're just seeing this insect, this reaper running through the trees at who's ever there. And when you see them at the end and you just see them exploding, you know there's like groups of people shooting them. And to even go further with what you were saying, I want then, if we were afraid of the bugs in this movie, in the sequel, I want the bugs to be afraid of us. And I want them to have guns that the bugs realize will kill them. And now they're going down into the sinkholes. Now they're fighting, you know, the bugs, and the bugs kind of know what's going on. They're kind of like a cockroach runs, you know, when you enter the room, and they start shooting everybody, you know, or shooting all the bugs. I would love to see a sequel to this. I really would.
I want a sequel as well. I actually want 2 sequels. I want a true sequel and I want a prequel. But but with the sequel I want to see them go, okay, these are machines. And we thought all along that this was an alien invasion or something. But no, I want to see that this was a fucked up weapons military company, like a RoboCop thing. And then these things got out of hand. And then the people, or people wanted to take over the world, so they release these things, or they just got out of hand, like we know mankind can do, releasing shit and going like, oh, fuck, maybe we shouldn't have made that thing or whatever. But the sequel I want is these 2 characters. I want them searching for the people that are behind these bees.
I would watch that. I would want that too. Yeah.
And as they get closer, I want not just these creatures that they can destroy. I want a new creature too that isn't vulnerable to her bullets, and now they have to figure out how to get past that. It's like RoboCop. Then you had like the super gigantic RoboCop that, you know, nobody could kill or whatever. I want that creature that they have to deal with, and then they have to find the company behind this and then out them to the world.
Yeah, because we never find out exactly. That's I don't mind.
It's very open-ended.
Yeah, I don't mind. There are some things that I have an issue with, but lack of knowing what these creatures are does not bother me, because you could do like what they did with A Quiet Place. And I think that you could, like you said, do the prequel, do the sequel. You could then have a different group of people in like a spin-off, and they're all hunting, you know, these creatures. We find out, that the government is somehow behind it. And here's something else that I really enjoyed in this. And like I said, I really paid attention to this. Anthony Mackie's family is Black. It's never brought up. It's never brought up at all. Never. You know what? The other 2 main characters are female. It's never brought up. Yeah. It's never brought up. He never goes, you're a woman, you need to stay here. This is dangerous. You know what I mean? Like it's never, it's that he's out to find, and for people who don't know the film, that his son has like a breathing condition, and he needs to get these like tubes that go into his machine, and they're down to like the last one. Like he maybe has like 3 or 4 days left, and he knows if he goes down into Boulder, into the hospital, he can find like a mess of them, and he can maybe be for a year or more. But he's not going to go down by himself. He really kind of needs somebody to go along with him. So his son stays with a woman, like a friend or a caregiver or something for the son. And Anthony Mackie, he even mentions that he worked in the mines and that he knows how to get into the city, but they have to go below the 8,000 feet to do it. The other woman, the scientist woman, she's trying to create the bullet. And then the other woman who's blonde, she is Katie, and she's more of like the hunter. Because you see Anthony Mackie and Katie out like hunting a deer. Never do they ever bring any of this stuff up. And I really enjoyed that. It's like, Thank you, director and writer, for not going, hey, you're a woman, you shouldn't be hunting deer, that's dangerous. Never. It's what their jobs are, and they never bring up the environment. They never say they came up through the ground because of fracking or something.
Yes. No, and that's where, I'm with you. And I didn't even think about any of this because the movie it was just a movie. There was no agenda. We don't need him to, oh, you don't want to come with me. Why? Because I'm black. Like, we don't need that stuff.
Right.
Make the movie regardless of what these people are, their backgrounds, anything. And so, yes, kudos to the filmmakers for not having any type of agenda. It was just a movie about they had a problem. The problem was these creatures that are killing them if they go below 8,000 feet. They're working together to figure this out. Like anybody would, they have disagreements on how to do it, or whether they should go or not. All that is fine and great. There's no political agenda, and yes, I didn't even think about that, but I agree with you 100%. Yeah, it's refreshing to see a movie and not think about any political shit while you're watching it.
Well, and maybe it's I mean, it's sad, but I'm just saying, like, maybe it's good that it didn't do a lot of money, because so its budget is 18 million, but it only made 3 million. But maybe it's kind of a good thing, because with like Twisters, the environmentalists are like, why didn't you put environmental things in your movie? Why didn't you talk about global warming? And the director was like, F you, I just want to make an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
None of that mattered.
Yeah.
And that was very intentional.
We're not producing the 5 o'clock news. We're producing a fun movie that we want people just to have fun with. So,
yeah. Now, some of the things that I did have a problem with. So it's supposed to be 3 years, but yet the Katie, the blonde-haired woman, and Anthony Mackie, his name is, because I just keep calling him by his real name. Will. So Katie and Will are sitting there before they leave. She's like, hey, it's Friday night. What would you be doing normally on a Friday night? You've been there for 3 years. This is the very first time you've ever asked him that.
Good point. Yeah.
I know it's for the audience, but it's like, I don't know, maybe they could have gone somewhere else. And then the woman with the bullet, that she, it seems like Nina, it seems like they really didn't know anything about her, but this is 3 years. So I get if it's like a year, maybe they don't know a lot about her, but you would think at some point, somebody would go to her house and be like, you're firing a lot of guns. What's going on around here? Like, is there something that we should be aware of?
Yeah. If they didn't have to go 3 years, if they would have went 6 months or 1 year, these conversations would have been a little more plausible. In a small community like they were in, you would imagine that they've already had the conversation sitting there. Emotions are running wild. A lot of people have just died. All their loved ones, they're alone and isolated, with strangers or whoever else. And eventually the emotion of the time is going to pull conversations out of them. Like, well, what would you normally be doing on a Friday night? You're absolutely right about that. They should have went with like maybe a 6 months or, or a year max, if they're going to have those type of conversations.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking it's like if you look, and I keep using A Quiet Place as my example, but if you look at something like A Quiet Place Day One, we, the audience, have already seen this twice. So we know what the aliens do. The characters in the movie don't. So they do tell people, shut up, shut up, shut up. It's noise. It's noise that gets them. But that's day one, where the first film, I think, is like 3 years later. It's like it's down the road. So it makes more sense if you're doing, elevation day, day one, that you wouldn't know any of this stuff. And the other thing is the CO2. So everything produces CO2.
Yeah.
The monsters are attracted to CO2. So I looked it up. Humans produce CO2. Animals produce CO2. Vehicles produce CO2. There are some things that don't produce CO2. Clouds and things like that don't. So, and this I did love, that the creatures did not attack the animals. So there's cows, there's horses.
But the animals were afraid of them. We didn't see them attack the animals, but when the one creature was coming up the mountain, those horses took off.
Oh, they split. Yeah,
Yeah.
they left. So I don't know if the animals are like if because we find out later that the bugs don't kill people for food, they just kill them. They just rip them to shreds for some reason.
And that's why we need a sequel. We need to find that out in a sequel.
Yeah, you need that underground lab where they got the big bug and it gets loose and just starts ripping the shit out of everybody. And it's just like, but it's not eating anyone. Why wouldn't it eat? Because it's not made to eat. It's just made to destroy. And so even they're like, they hop into the car or the truck, and they're speeding down the road. And this is before I looked anything up. And I'm like, why are they speeding? If it's CO2 that attracts the monsters, why are they speeding? Is it maybe noise too? So they're speeding to maybe get to the place before the monsters can get to them because of the noise. And then I saw, oh yeah, okay, so the truck would be emitting CO2, but then it might not be a good idea to use the truck.
But the truck, the truck is going to get you there a lot faster. And a horse is going to have it as well. To me, the idea that, you get down there, you get a truck so you can haul ass and get back. I'm good with that. My thought on that, on, why, and how the creature finds or tracks them. This is where it's like, it's so easy, or it's so right, it feels right to make it like A Quiet Place where the noise attracts them. It really does. And so for them to want to do something different, to say, okay, CO2, there you go, instead of noise. But yeah, again, I mean, like you said, so many different things are going to have, be producing this. So yeah, I don't know. That was a tough one, but it doesn't bug me, but I can't think of a better alternative for what the bugs track them with.
I mean,
I don't want sound. We already have sound.
Right. And Nina did say that they can smell or tell the CO2 or whatever it is like a mile away. And so that explains at the very beginning where Will's son is running back up the hill and the Reaper almost kills him, and he stops right on that line, or right over the line, and because he's breathing heavier and heavier and heavier as he's running, so the creature keeps coming after him more and more. So here's an idea: then why not wear a mask? Why not wear a gas mask?
I did kind of think of that at one point. Like, why are we not making some type of, or, go down the hill, find a fucking spacesuit or something, something to put on. Yeah. Some type of mask or something that is going to dilute the CO2 or capture it or something. That would have been a smart way to get down there.
Yeah. Cause if Anthony Mackie, if he was working in the mines, he would probably know where there's like a coal miner's mask. And you put on the mask.
Yes, because you don't know what type of different oxygen levels or things, the weird chemicals that are going to be down in those mines. So they wear masks down there. So that is one thing that they could have explored too. That did cross my mind in this, is like, why are they not wearing masks, or, driving down the road? If the creatures can tell the difference between a horse's, exhale versus a human being's exhale versus a car's exhaust. If the creatures can tell what is human and they're coming after that, they're driving down the road in the car. I'm like, why do you roll your fucking window down?
Uh,
Roll your window up. You know, why is your window rolled down? Roll it up. You know, so there were some things where you could nitpick. There definitely were, but
yeah. I mean, even like the battery in the truck, you know, she asks, Nina says, well, is the battery going to work? And he's like, it matters how fresh it is or something. Well, it's been 3 years.
yeah,
So I don't know, man. The batteries out here in Vegas don't even last a year in the heat.
yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how well that battery would be, and then how much gas the truck would even have.
Well, and here's the other thought too. If you park your car and you just leave it, the gas is going to go bad. You know, gasoline evaporates and stuff. I mean, the oil is going to get all sludgy and stuff. 3 years, if you park your car for 3 years, it's not going to be running at tip top performance. There's going to be some issues with it. So, but I mean, it's a movie. You got to have some type of fun. I liked the truck helping them enough that that I didn't have a problem with it. What I did have a problem with was the convenient blowout of the tire causing the truck to crash, because then I knew exactly what the fuck was going to happen once the truck crashes. And then he passes out for a minute, and then he gets up and he knows he has to get the things for his son, and he has to run up the mountain. Now, you knew he was going to get surrounded by the creatures, and you knew she was going to show up with her magic bullets to defeat them and save him. It became predictable at that point. So I thought they should have done a little something better with the writing on that, because I knew once he crashed, I go, watch, there's going to be one of these creatures coming up on him. She's going to shoot it from behind. And what happened? Exactly that.
Well, and I guess over the years of her shooting the metal scale from the Reaper has made her a good shot. So because why is it that he's driving, the truck flips, he gets out, the Reaper, which is that great shot above, follows him, and of course he doesn't run into the trees for some reason. He runs out in the open, and he could get up there, and there are 3 bugs that are surrounding him, but yet she could get a car. She can wreck the car and then make it up the mountain and know exactly where he is in enough time to shoot them.
Yeah.
And so I'm in agreement with you on that one. There is, when you're getting that shot of him and the creature, the Reaper, is right there, I'm like, oh, she's gonna come up behind them, and she's gonna kill it.
Yeah.
And it did. So yeah.
So yeah, that that bugged me. And you know, something else that bugged me too, the ending, I liked the way when they found out, and then that overhead shot where you saw the little explosions. Maybe it was the quality of the movie that we watched. Maybe in 4K or something, it would look better. But those explosions, there were too many of them, and they started looking cartoonish down there in the valley. I understood the point, seeing the one explode, you know, and then seeing another one and another one. It's like, okay, so we know they're hunting these things. But then they just kind of started dotting them randomly around the forest. I would have rather seen 1 or 2 explode and then roll credits, because we get the point. I thought it looked a little cartoonish with all of them exploding. I just don't think we needed that. I think we got the point. Is, you know, she has the bullets, that something with the electric, you know, something that fries their circuits or whatever and makes them explode. I love that premise of how to defeat them, but I just thought they went too far with that last overhead scene.
I would agree with you, even though I love the shot. I would agree with you that it's because we only see the one group leave. And then, if they just did 1 and then 2 and then credits, I think that would have been more realistic, because we don't see that many creatures in this whole movie. We see 3 creatures,
and those things are blowing up everywhere. Like, if they went down there and there was that many creatures out there, they would have been screwed. They would have never made it.
Yeah. So no, I agree with you on that one. Yeah, there should have been less. Even though it's a cool shot, they should have done less.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But backing up in the story, I like that it's not just them sitting on a mountain going like, we can't live here forever. It's not panic attacks. It's not what about me. It's about I gotta do something for my son. I have to go. And Nina's trying to figure out a way to defeat these things. And you don't know why she's so passionate about it until they get down to the lab and find out that, she lost her family. I like that little twist that they put in there. And I like the characters really had some good motivation. It wasn't just blank motivation. We didn't need to know the history of these creatures. We didn't need to know all the history of everything that happened before, but we did need to know why these characters were so passionate about doing what they were doing. And why the three of them went and the two made it. And the one that didn't make it, Katie, she was a badass, and I liked her, and I liked the kind of frustration between her and Nina, where Nina was accusing her of wanting to sleep with Will, and that. And you could understand if you're in a small community, because 80% of the world's now dead, there's only so many people there. And but the survivors are still going to have those basic human needs of needing physical contact with another human being, or getting horny or whatever it is. And so to have a little bit of that drama, I thought was good, and they didn't push it too far, because I hate movies where people go on adventures together and they all hate each other. I thought it was good. And man, and the way they killed her, with her being pulled away and that scream as she was pulled away by the creature, man, I thought that was great, and that was emotional. And Will's characters, Will's sitting there going like, fuck, she's gone. And obviously, because maybe Will was starting to have feelings for Katie, maybe there was more, maybe he added a little emotion to that scene. um More than just somebody getting killed. I mean, seeing somebody get killed is going to be emotional no matter what. But if it's a potential love interest or something, I thought that was it was a pretty good way. If you were going to kill one of them, I think they did a good job with it.
yeah, and I liked with the blonde that it's with Katie, that I like that Nina says, like, well, have you ever seen one of these things up close?
Yeah.
Which she hasn't. And then when she does, which is down by the ski resort, her face is pretty good. It's just like, like, holy fuck, what have I gotten into? Because nothing's working. Like, she has those missile launchers, or whatever, like the grenade launchers, and they're just not doing anything. They're just going right through it like it's like tissue paper.
Yeah, no, and that's where that the grenade launcher, that is a real, and I forget the number of it, but it is a real grenade launcher that would attach onto an M16 or the newer M14s or whatever they're called now, the new rifles that the military has replaced the M16 with. But I in being a Marine in the Marine Corps, I actually used one of those and fired a grenade out of those. So it's a real thing. That's a real thing. Now, the one thing that movies always fuck up is when missiles or grenades or rockets are fired. When they blow up, it's not a big ball of flames. There's no big, but movies love to make everything a big ball of flames. When the grenade is fired and you see the explosion and there's like fire and flames, that doesn't happen. It's just a boom and an explosion. But the movies, it's easier for the eyes for us to understand, oh, this is blowing up, there's fire. But that's kind of irrelevant. The point of that scene with her shooting and that thing exploding and doing nothing to the creature, the oh shit look on her face was great. That reality setting in. So in that scene, I loved the ski resort, the hospital, the lab, their little village, all the settings and locations, the tunnels, like the caves or whatever, mine shafts, all the settings were great. I thought the cinematography was phenomenal. So many good things about this production wise. And that's why I think like I'm kind of nitpicking with the end with all the different explosions. And then the predictability of her showing up to shoot after Will was surrounded. They're minor issues.
Right.
All in all, it was a very well put together movie, a very good story. And you really have to sit here and tear it down to kind of find things that are wrong with this movie, problems with it.
I agree with that. So I really do, because I like that a lot of it is not explained, but I do think script wise, hey, it's 3 years later. Hey, Will, what would you normally be doing on a Friday? Well, you would have found this out 2 years ago. So that's the
Now,
stuff that bothers me.
they could have done a something where they showing that they just met, that they didn't know each other, that maybe she showed up from another village or one of them showed up from another village or something. They could have made something to where they just kind of were getting acquainted, but they didn't do that. So you're right, the conversation is kind of like a little dated, a little too late.
Yeah, it would be like if you and I 3 years from now, and then all of a sudden I find out you're a Marine.
Yeah.
No, I would have found that out years ago, because you would bring it up, or I would bring it up, or something would bring it up. And so but like you said, it's nitpicky stuff. It doesn't matter. It's things that the audience, would, it's information for the audience. So, and that's fine. So, anything else about Elevation?
I just, the pacing was good. The movie kept going. Them going along and having challenges, that were real and plausible. I liked it. It was an adventure. It was fun. It kept me interested. Times kind of on the edge of my seat. So I'm really happy with the movie. I'm really glad that you mentioned it. I think they put it together very well, and I just can't get over. You have Anthony Mackie and Morena Baccarin in a movie, and I'd never fucking heard of it. It's, pardon my f bombs, but it's just mind blowing.
Yeah, because what was so. Oh yeah. So she's been in how do you say her name again? Morena?
Morena, I think it's Baccarin is her last name. But
Okay.
Morena Baccarin. She's been in a ton of stuff. Dude, I mean, like she's in freaking Deadpool. She's Deadpool's girlfriend.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she was in Homeland. I like, dude, she's been in all kinds of stuff. So, The Flash, The End Game. I mean, like, yeah, dude, she's been in a lot of stuff. She's just a great actress.
Yeah, it looks like TV, animated stuff, like some Batman. So
And she was in apparently, and I have not seen the show, but apparently she was in 82 episodes of Gotham.
oh
So
wow.
it's like almost the whole thing. And I've got Gotham. I own it. I need to watch Gotham still. But yeah, she's great. Just tons and tons of stuff for a long, long time now. So, between her and then Captain America, like, come on. And this is the other thing too.
We have
The
two
guy
Captain
who,
Americas in this review.
we do. But the guy who directed it was a writer for The Bourne Ultimatum, The Adjustment Bureau, Ocean's 12. This is the director. He also directed The Adjustment Bureau and
Love that film.
well, I don't know the banker, but I mean, like, this guy has an established resume, and so it's not like there was anybody involved with this film that didn't know what they were doing. So I just don't understand how they didn't promote this more. I don't under what they might, maybe the test screenings maybe just were horrible, and they just said, you know what, it's not going to do well in theaters, let's just push it to streaming.
Excuse me. Yeah, because it's The Bankers also with Anthony Mackie. It's also got Samuel L. Jackson in it too.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's probably where he met these people. And but yeah, Birth of the Dragon, which is about Bruce Lee. Yeah, Judgment Bureau is really good. Yeah, The Bourne. Yeah, Sentinel is supposed to be pretty good. Ocean's 12 is okay. Yeah, Timeline is the Michael Crichton book.
Yeah, the Ocean's 11 is the best, and then 12 is okay and 13 is okay, but it's still with all those actors, that cast, that's a massive project. That is one to hang your hat on if you're involved with it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, so so they had some good people working on this, and it just was not, unfortunately, just I guess the studio just had no faith in it. None at all. So
yeah, it's crazy. But it was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So both of us recommend it then. So
yeah. Are we giving scores or just thumbs up or recommending or not recommending?
We could do scores. You want to do 1 to 5 Raptors, or not Raptors, Reapers? 1 to 5 Reapers.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, and so I just so everybody knows, shameless promotion. I have a Letterboxd page, and I don't usually go in and type up full reviews of everything, but I like to use it as for the diary sake, so I remember what I watched. And on Letterboxd, I gave Elevation 3.5 Reapers, and I thought one, the ending was kind of wonky, the predictability was kind of wonky, and it was good, but when I say like my favorite movies of all time, it wasn't there. And so those are, so my grading scale is going to be 5 for my favorite movie of all time. So automatically you got to be something really special to get there. So 4 is usually my base. If it's a great movie, it'll be a 4. But then with, the couple little things that I nitpicked about, I give it 3.5 Reapers.
Okay, and I'm going to agree with that. I would also give it 3.5 Reapers. Might be a little closer to 4, but I'm sticking with 3.5. So because of, we seem to agree with the problems. So and if those problems weren't there, that maybe finding out a better way of her getting up the mountain, and then shooting them instead of just being there, and the creatures don't hear her or see her, or the CO2, or is a little wonky.
Even just show her driving up. Just show her driving up, and maybe she's driving up and she's being chased by the Reaper. Show the other car. She's being chased by these Reapers. She's driving up, and then she gets out, and you're thinking that she was on the run or something. She gets out, then she pulls out the gun, boom, boom, and starts taking them out. Something like that, rather than her just magically being up there. And it was just a little predictable. So
yeah, I would agree with that. So so we agree on this one, definitely. So
but highly recommend everybody check it out. I think it's great. It's one that some point, assuming it gets a physical release, that I'll probably put in my collection.
Oh, definitely. I would definitely do it, and I'll put it right next to the A Quiet Place films. I'll put it right there as kind of like a little bastard kind of step,
subgenre. And fingers crossed, man, that it does well enough that somebody like Netflix goes, yeah, we need to make a sequel of this, because I really want, like I said, I think it should be that these creatures were not aliens. Still go with, there's nothing out there. We don't need alien contact. They wanted these people to think they were aliens, but they find out, some government project gone wrong. They have to go there, And one, they have to defeat these things, and then two, they have to find out who started this, who's behind it, hold them accountable, get society going again. And then I want a day one, elevation day one, man. I want to see how they figured out how they had to get to 8,000 feet. You know, I want to see how they figured out that they were coming after him because of CO2. I want to see these things. We didn't need it, but I would like to see it because I'm a fan of it now.
Sure. And they, even with something like A Quiet Place Day One, it's day one, but we still saw day one in part two. I mean, that's the only scene that like John Krasinski is in is right as the, you know, the creatures hit. And so I think that they could give this a prequel and a sequel. I think that that would be nice. And as we're about to discover with the next film that we're going to be talking about, Red One, if you do something for streaming, box office doesn't matter, which is what I just discovered. That Red One was originally meant to be streaming, and The Rock's paycheck was $20 million, and they did not care if the film bombed or not, because, and yeah, so it's Amazon. And so Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, all of these places, Disney, it doesn't matter if the film bombs or not, because that's just a little extra cash in their pocket. So it's all about streaming. It's all about the ads. It's all about the hours. And that's what matters, which is why they keep allowing stuff like Rebel Moon and things like that to be made, because it doesn't cost them any money. They make it all back, irregardless. Yes. That it doesn't play in a theater or not. So, and I found that to be interesting.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it wasn't too long ago that, you know, somebody was interviewing, I think Matt Damon, talking about, you know, physical media or theaters and stuff. And he's talking about how it's a different world. Things are shot. Things are made for streaming now. These movies are not made to go to theaters. They're not made to go to DVDs. They're made to stream. And, you know, the evidence is clear with these two movies that we're talking about today.
Yeah, and who knows, you know, with, you know, Elevation of what their goal was. You know, is it to just play it in theaters for a little bit and then put it on the streaming? Because I don't think Elevation is the same as Red One. I think that they're two different things, and which is unfortunate. But Red One, like Red Notice and some of these other movies that are the Gray Man, are all made for streaming.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if they get a theatrical release or not, they're going to make money, especially when you're paying The Rock $20 million.
Yeah.
You know, to be in this film. And, you know, the budget for it was between 200 and 250 million, but which is astronomical, but it only made 88 million.
Yeah.
So
is that where it's at still right now?
Yeah, it bombed.
Okay.
Yeah. Theater wise, it bombed. But you turned me on to this. I wasn't going to watch it. And then you said, hey, I like this movie. So I watched it and I liked it. I thought it was a fun movie.
Yeah. And see, and I think with this, I would imagine that it is going to get a physical release at some point next year, so that people will be watching it now in the theater. As it gets closer to Christmas, they'll be streaming it at home. And I think they will put out a physical release of it next year, because I think, you know, physical media collectors and stuff, yeah, we like our horror movies, we like our sci-fi movies or whatever, but a Christmas movie, something that people will want to pull out or put under the Christmas tree as a gift for somebody, I could see this. I could see it being one of part of their idea, their revenue stream. I think is they're probably looking at physical media for this. You know, whereas, I mean, hey, Elevation, You know, there's movies that, like Elevation that may never ever get a physical release anymore.
Right.
But where something like Red One is definitely going to get a physical release.
Yeah, definitely. And it's what somebody pointed out. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. It is everybody that's in Red One has been in a superhero movie.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So you know
yeah. Oh no,
you
and I'm sorry. I was just going to say I liken it to an Avengers Christmas movie. You know,
yeah.
you have different characters. They even do superhero poses. You know, it's like you put together this team of people that have to fight off, you know, the evil, you know, whatever. Pick your superhero villain that they have to beat. And you know, I liked that it was the Christmas witch too, as opposed to just going with Krampus, because you know everybody, you know, oh, I want a Christmas villain. Who am I going with? Krampus. And I don't have a problem with that, but I like variety, and so I thought the Christmas witch was pretty cool. I thought that was a pretty cool villain.
Yeah, and we like the actress who plays her because she was in The Black Coat's Daughter. She was the possessed.
Oh, you
Uh,
know what? And I knew I recognized her from somewhere, but I hadn't Googled her or anything to find out. But okay. Yes, no,
yeah,
and we definitely like her. Yes.
that's I always say her name. It's like Kiernan Sipka.
Oh, yeah, that's I think it's like an Irish name. Kieran, yeah. I think I'm pretty sure that's an Irish name. I'm
But
trying to think now.
it's got a great cast in it, and you know, for people who haven't seen it, Santa Claus is a corporation, and he's up at the North Pole, and he's got this dome that, and so people can't see his inner workings. And what I like about this, and I appreciate Christmas movies that do this, that it's just not a regular Christmas movie. So the Santa Claus would do that, or if you want to get more into stuff like uh uh Silent Night, Deadly Night, or anything that deals with Christmas that's not normal, I like. And so I appreciate that they were trying to do something different with this. So you have, you know, Vince Vaughn, who is Santa's security guard, and he runs the security up there. And Santa is buffed.
The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, not Vince Vaughn.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm thinking the other one,
Yeah.
where Vince Vaughn is the Santa's brother.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't.
Jim Claus or something, or Bob Claus. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. So The Rock. So The Rock is the head of security, and you have J.K. Simmons as the totally buffed and ripped Santa Claus who's lifting weights, you know, and
Very
he's
funny.
having, The Rock spot him, because he's got a big night ahead of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And spoilers once again for people. So spoilers have not stopped just because we're on a new movie. And I like that. I like that there's this almost kind of Wakanda forever, I guess, kind of city that's up there with the dome, and these
Yeah.
people break in. The Winter Witch breaks in and kidnaps Santa because she wants to take all the evil people and put them in the snow globes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Santa can't have that, of course. So then The Rock has to go find Santa, and he hires, Chris Evans, who's like
Yeah.
a bounty hunter, and he's like a hacker, and but he's a kind of a slacker and a dick at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Well,
So
you know, I'm sorry.
no.
One of the things that I liked about it was, so we have, this, yeah, like you said, the dome. We have this whole massive city up there. But like, for example, in the Santa Claus, which I love the Santa Claus movies, but you have like Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus, the son, and then you have like a couple elves, and that's it. They run everything. This movie, you actually have a network. So yeah, The Rock
Yeah.
is like the bodyguard. Lucy Liu, who I love, Lucy Liu, she's like kind of like she'd be like the North Pole's like intelligence officer who, you know, kind of you know, gets everything. They have a full support structure. They didn't
Yeah.
just go like, oh, there's this guy who magically knows everything. They have these people in, you know, so it felt, I mean, it's obviously it's a Santa Claus movie, so it's not legit, but I mean, as far as the structure of how things would get done, there weren't like loopholes or whatever. So you know, the cast was great, the actors were great. Krampus was hysterical. I mean, it was, that Krampus coming out kind of being this Conor McGregor goofy badass. I want
Yeah.
to fight you and beat you up, and all that stuff. You know, it was good. They all had personality. They didn't just make Krampus just an evil guy. You know, they didn't. Yeah, and Kiernan Shipka, who played Grilla, the Christmas witch, they didn't just make her just a Christmas witch. They gave personality and things like we can't say her name because, you know, she'll hear you. Interesting little things like that made it kind of fun, where it was like, oh, we slipped and said her name. It's like, oh shit, now what's gonna happen?
Well, yeah, because okay, so as an example, if you look at something like Venom 3, right? The Last Dance, they they say if Venom fully transforms, the creature that's hunting them knows where he is
Yeah.
and will go after him. So they do the whole stupid dance sequence in Vegas, and the creature knows where they are, and then the creature, you know, runs to Vegas to get them. They know, they even bring it up. They know this is a horrible idea. And they do it just for laughs. They do it for the audience. They do it because, oh, look, it's Venom dancing. But they know they shouldn't be transforming because I guess they wouldn't have Venom in a movie. And none of the transforming is by accident. It's done on purpose. But in this, you know, Chris Evans doesn't know that at first.
Yeah.
So he says her name, and then she kind of turns around, like, oh, wait, somebody just said my name. And then later on, yeah, like you said, people say it by mistake. Like Chris Evans' son says it by mistake.
Yeah.
Because these people don't know. They don't know. They have no idea this entire place even exists.
Yeah.
So it's like, to me, that was much better writing than Venom 3 because you have people making mistakes. And then, you know, and that's even with like Chris Evans is like, shh, don't stop because he made the mistake, you know.
Yeah.
So now he
Yeah.
can tell somebody don't do that.
Yeah. Well, and the repercussions for, you know, like when they go to um when they go to see Krampus, wherever that was, when they go through that portal, and The Rock tells Chris Evans, don't touch anything. And then he sees a pot of gold and he picks up, you know, a piece of gold. And then, you know, these, you know, what were they, lions or something, or whatever they were, came to attack him. And he's like, I thought I told you not to touch anything, all right? You're, you know, whatever. But Chris Evans he's like a scumbag. He's a scoundrel in this movie. So you would see, like, hey, if I saw a pot of gold, fuck, it'd be hard to walk by and not take some.
One piece,
So
you know,
yeah,
why
that was
not?
all it took. But yeah, the story, there was enough like going of an adventure, going to Krampus's place. You know, the fact that, you know, Krampus is Santa Claus' brother and all these different things, they added, there was a lot of meat on the bones as far as the story went. You know, it wasn't, and it wasn't like overly dramatic. This was supposed to be a funny, fun movie. We didn't need the overly dramatic. And that's where a movie like Santa Claus with Tim Allen, you do get the dramatic moments where, oh no, Christmas is going to end, and you know, and he, you know, he's got to find a wife or this or that or whatever. um we didn't get that drama in this. that would have been out of place. So I like that they skipped that and they just went straight comedy. And I'm grateful that they I mean, you made a movie with The Rock without what's his name, that other short little comedian guy that's always in everything with The Rock. Oh, what's his name? That everybody makes fun of him for being short, whatever his name is. But you made a movie with The Rock without that guy, so that was good.
I have no idea who that is.
Oh, let me see.
I'm kind of curious of who that is.
You know, you're gonna go like, oh.
I've discovered that my new chair is not as comfortable as I was hoping.
Kevin Hart.
Okay. Oh yeah, we don't need Kevin Hart in this because he'd just be Kevin Hart. So
yeah, and that's where, I mean, here's the thing. You watch an Adam Sandler movie, he's pretty much the same fucking guy. You watch a Kevin Hart movie, he's the same guy. You watch a Rock movie, he's pretty much the same guy. But, you know, if you put all these same people together in a movie, like Grown Ups, I was never a big fan of Grown Ups because I knew, I'm like, I'm going to get David Spade. I'm going to get Adam Sandler. I know what these guys are going to be. I don't need to watch this. You know, having the cast that they had in this movie, I thought it was great casting. They played off each other well, and the story was, it just kept going. It wasn't, however long it was, it didn't get me bored or anything like that. So
no,
I don't understand some of the hate that it's getting, for sure.
How long is it? It is 123 minutes.
Yeah, so just over 2 hours.
I think people just, well, the Rock has been getting I think people are not liking The Rock anymore because of things that he has done and like trying to take over the DC movies and not being in Shazam, and that, like, we all thought it was fun when he and Vin Diesel were fighting on Fast and Furious. You know, they're two alpha males that are just going head to head. And obviously, probably, Dwayne Johnson wanted to make the series his, while Vin Diesel is like, no, it's mine, and it has been, and it always will be. But, he just did really shitty things during the DC movies. And where somebody like, let's just say, Jason Statham, who literally makes the same movie every single time, makes a ton of money, and people love him because
we love the movies.
Yeah, I mean, they're now making The Beekeeper too. And there's a huge difference in I think that if maybe it was Jason Statham as the security guard instead of The Rock, maybe this would have done better.
Yeah, but to me, this says everything I need to know, because the people that sit here and talk about these movies and break them down, the so-called experts and everything, they're trashing this movie. It has a 33 on Rotten Tomatoes amongst the experts, but the fan score, this tells you all you need to know. The fan score is a 90. So to a 33 from the experts. So the experts, they're the ones that know everything about The Rock. They're the ones that have these preconceived notions how movies should be or how they should go. And that's one of the things that I talk about quite a lot, talking about movie reviews. I'm allowed to watch a movie and go, I like this. I don't like this. I can say, I think they should have done this, or I think they should have done that. But it's not my movie. So it's not up to me to say, this is how it should have been written, or this is how the story should have gone. Now, if you take a character like Spider-Man, who we know shoots webs out of his wrist, and all of a sudden you go like, oh no, Spider-Man has a cape now, he flies. We know that's wrong. That's not what Spider-Man has been. When you take a movie like Red One, where you have original characters in a new story, you can do whatever you want with them. That's fun. And you can't complain. Oh, they should have done this or he should have done that. So I think I'm much more in agreement with the audience score of 90% than I am the experts of 30. Because to me, so a 90, that's a 9 out of 10. That's a 4.5. A 33, that's a 3 out of 10. So that's equivalent of like a 1.5 star movie. So man, Red One was fun. And that's all it needed to be. A popcorn movie. Maybe you watch it once a year and you have fun with it. And that's it. So to have any expectations that experts would have, um, I think they're just, being a little pompous ass, like they don't need to do that.
Well, yeah, and like I said at the beginning, is I like when these movies do things a little bit differently, because you have like Fat Man with Mel Gibson, where he plays Santa Claus, and the guy doesn't like that when he was a kid, he got a lump of coal, so he goes up to kill Santa Claus, and it's great seeing Mel Gibson as Santa Claus, and then even that one that you and I didn't like, what was it, Silent Night, I think it's called, where the whole movie is like no talking.
Yeah, man, that one got very bad scores too. That one bombed. Oops.
Yeah, that one was just boring. I didn't buy that one at all. And then there's the one from what's his face who played Hellboy in the third movie, where he's Santa and it's Leguizamo, and he's in the house, and it's something night, Silent Night.
I think that's also just called Silent Night. I think they're both just called Silent Night.
David, let's see, Hellboy 3. Because that one was okay. I don't like.
So, yeah, the one with Joel Kinnaman and Kid Cudi, that Silent Night was terrible. And so that one has a on wow, it's got a 3 on. I'm surprised. But then you have is this the other Silent Night?
Violent Night. It's called Violent Night.
Oh, that's right. Violent Night. Yes. Off by one letter there, or a couple letters, but yeah, Violent Night. It was way too fucking long. David Harbour and John Leguizamo.
Yeah, I would much rather watch that type of stuff than just a regular Santa Claus movie. And if you're going to give me Red One with this entire world that is built, and I want to watch that. I wanted to see it, but everybody was giving it such bad reviews.
Yeah.
That I didn't go until you said something, and it was just like, well, I don't know, Phillip likes it. Let me check it out.
But so listen to some of these reviews. This is how stupid people are. So this guy, this is a top critic on Rotten Tomatoes. This guy is a moron. His name is Bill Goodykuntz. His review says, but what Red One is really missing, what every Christmas movie worth its eggnog requires, is summed up with one word: magic. What the fuck did this guy watch if he's not thinking this movie had magic? What were they stealing from Santa when he was in the globe to make the other globes? His magic. So these experts are morons, and that's my problem with we're watching the expert. Their scores. They don't know what
is it maybe that the film isn't magical? Like I didn't get a magical experience from it. The movie needs to be magical. Or do you think he means, oh, there's just no magic in it, even though there's a witch?
Either way, there's both. There is that magical element, because you have Santa. Maybe it's machines that make him smaller so he can fit down the chimneys. Maybe it's machines that make this thing haul ass, but he still goes to every house. He still saves, like the kid, and the dad get to, have their reunion, their bonding, the magic of the damaged relationship of the father and his son coming back together. You have the magic. So, these people are clowns. They're just clowns. So, you know, that's, uh, you know, they're these reviews. It's another guy, such a noisy, witless puddle of CGI puke. I can't believe Ryan Reynolds isn't in it. This guy is just hating everything now. So, I mean, who you cannot trust. I'm just going to say this right now. The experts on Rotten Tomatoes are not experts. They're idiots that write reviews about what they want, not what a good movie really is. So just look at the fan scores on Rotten Tomatoes and to hell with all these other clowns. You know, and if you look at the fan score, it's a 90%. That's a phenomenal score. And Red One on IMDb, 6.9 out of 10. IMDb, if you're at a 5 or above, you're doing very well. 6, you're amazing. Very, very, very few movies on IMDb ever pass a 7. To be at a 6.9, that is a damn good score. So that tells you this is not a bad movie. It's got a great cast.
No.
They all do a good job. It's fun. It might be 2 hours, but that's fine. I'll tell you what, Violent Night was 1 hour and 52 minutes, and I was dying 30 minutes in going, God, when is this going to be over? It was just, it lagged. It was sluggish. This was boom, boom, boom. The pacing was good. It was going. It were fun. You were seeing different people meeting different, you know, good guys or bad guys or whoever they were. There was so many different elements brought in, and there was some random ass shit, you know, like when they're interrogating all the bad guys. And remember, they're up there at the North Pole and they're trying to figure out who kidnapped Santa. So they're interrogating the other bad guys that came through. I forget, there was a couple of them, but that was hysterical.
They're more of like the folk type guys. So there's the Headless Horseman.
That's right, the Headless Horseman. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few of them that kind of pop in and out. And well, can you put up the poster? Because I really like the poster for this.
Okay.
To me, that poster right there should get people to come in.
Yeah, let me see if I can blow this up here. So,
and even the director of this has done some good movies too, and he's worked with The Rock a couple times. So he's got a good relationship, I guess, with Dwayne Johnson.
Here we go. I was trying to make it a better size than the other one. So, boop, 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 boop. There you go. That should work.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's a great poster.
Yep. Yeah. And I like, you know, that the Santa sleigh looks like that in the movie. The reindeer are huge in the movie. So, you know, I like that. And the polar bear is hysterical.
Love the polar bear. Yeah. Especially when he does the, you know, watching you.
Yeah. It really portrays what the movie is. And you maybe don't realize it in looking at it, but you know, until you watch the movie, but what you're seeing in the background behind the sleigh and the reindeer is the North Pole, the city at the North Pole, kind of in that dome. So it is very, very good art here. I thought it is a great poster. You're right.
Yeah. And you know, even with elevation, it's funny, is there's this scene where the tail, when they're in the tunnels that goes around, that's like kind of going, which reminded me of War of the Worlds, the Tom Cruise one. Then you have in this one, in Red One, you have where all the snowmen end up on the beach, which I thought was great, and how they destroy them by taking their noses off the carrot. But that reminded me of Jack Frost, you know, the Killer Snowman movie when he goes to Hawaii.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was great. Yeah, these, you know, like seemingly, you know, like what was the word I'm thinking of? But these snowmen, you just can't defeat. They have no weaknesses, and they're just kicking everybody's ass until he accidentally realizes that you take the nose off, and that kills him. So that's amazing, which is funny. That is very funny because, I mean, like, you know, we know in the Frosty the Snowman, he needed his magic hat. So they got to have something, that is gonna bring them to life or whatever. And it's the carrot. It's
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so very very good stuff. And the director is Jake Kasdan, and he hasn't directed a ton of movies, but he's been out there for a while, like a good 20 years. But he
Mm,
did like Zero Effect, which is really good. That's with Bill Pullman.
mm.
Orange County, when we used to like Jack
Oh
Black.
yeah.
I don't know what the TV set is. I think that's maybe maybe a TV show. Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story was hilarious.
Oh
That's
yeah.
also with like Judd Apatow and John C. Riley. Bad Teacher is another good one with uh,
Oh
um,
yeah.
yeah, with Cameron Diaz. Sex Tape was funny, and then he did the 2 Jumanji movies that made a gazillion dollars, and then Red One. So this guy
Wow.
has been wow. He was an actor in The Big Chill from 1983.
Wow.
Wow,
Huh.
and he was in Silverado.
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
yeah, he appeared. I'm guessing. Oh, because it has to be his dad. Lawrence Kasdan must be his dad because he's Jay
Okay.
Kasdan. So we're
Yeah.
looking at The Big Chill, Silverado, Accidental Tourist. Those are all all Lawrence Kasdan films. So okay, so he's a legacy director. Then he's so his dad probably gave him his first shot, but that's
Yeah.
fine. He's a good actor, so
Yeah. Oh no.
or a good director. I mean,
Definitely. Yes. No, a movie this complicated with this much CGI. Yeah, I thought they put it together well. Something we didn't, and going back to Rotten Tomatoes and judging the audience score, not the experts. I don't think we really talked about this with Elevation. So just really quickly,
sure.
Fifth Elevation has a 56 from the experts, the
Okay.
fans an 81.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just further proof that the experts are experts in idiocy.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're talking about. So, but yeah, man, I was, here's the thing, going in to Red One, I was like, yeah, I don't know. There's nothing else coming out of the theater, and I do reviews for the new movies coming out of the theater, and so that was like, well, I got to go. My daughter wanted to see it, so I was like, well, this works out perfect. So I had somebody to go with, and we sat there together and we laughed and we had a good time, and it was over. And I mean, the story had a good arc. It kept you wondering what's going on. It wasn't just slapstick bullshit for 2 hours. There was a real story, an intent, a point. Each scene felt like it was, moving the story forward. Even though you're meeting some goofy characters, they all had a reason. It wasn't like you get in a lot of Disney movies or some even Marvel movies. Characters show up just to show up, just to make a cameo for
Yeah.
fanfare. I didn't feel like this was fanfare. And I know, I mean, usually with fanfare, it has to be like a sequel, and in the you're doing the fanfare to keep the fans happy because it's kind of like the original. This didn't have that, but it just didn't feel like they were doing stuff. Like we didn't need a leprechaun, or we didn't need the Easter bunny, we didn't need Father Time or some of these other characters. We didn't need them showing up, but the ones that did, like those mythical creatures, like the headless horseman, it was for a reason, and it was funny and it worked. So I thought they put a lot of thought into the script, and for somebody to say it's just goofy CGI trash, they're out of their mind. They're just
And
angry because it's
yeah, it's just to say it. That's all
yeah.
it is. It's people don't want to, and I've noticed, and I'm guilty too. I'll say something is garbage without seeing it, and it's yeah, I'm guilty of that. I've done it. I've tried to
Mm.
stop doing that, but I mean, there are certain things where I'm told, "Oh, you should go watch this," and I just know I'm not going to like it. I
Yeah.
know it. I mean,
Yeah.
like something like the Marvels. Okay, I did watch it and I didn't like it, so
Mm.
I don't need to watch other Marvel stuff. Let's say
Yeah.
that's especially around that time period. I'm just not going to enjoy it, but I'll watch phase one of the Marvel, sure, or of Marvel movies, but yeah, I mean, but I think people can be really stupid. So, well, let me ask
Yeah.
you this: with all of these movies bombing, like really bombing, is the Hollywood star dead? Are these just actors?
Yeah, well, and that Tarantino said that, yeah, that the Hollywood star is dead. It's characters that people are in love with now. They don't care about the star. And it's funny, I think you see so many of these the people that are famous nowadays, um YouTubers and TikTokers and all these people that like the Kardashians who do not deserve to be famous.
Oh no, not at all.
Um, so what is a star anymore? And I think, going back to the golden day of entertainment, golden age of entertainment, I think of somebody like Frank Sinatra, who could sing, who could dance, who could act. He did all these things. Even, I mean, look at like Elvis. Maybe the acting and maybe the movies were suspect or whatever, but he was a bona fide star. He was a talented human being. And nowadays, it's not about talent; it's about saying something shocking or like you look at the Paul brothers, these two clowns.
Uh,
I want to be famous, so I'm going to fight Mike Tyson. But I mean, how did they get their fame? Because they went to the suicide forest in Japan and showed a dead body on their YouTube channel. How uncool is that? And because of that, you're a celebrity now? Like, no. So I don't know how Hollywood or the film industry is going to evolve to keep stars as stars, because you have like The Rock, yeah, a $20 million guy, Tom Cruise, $20 million guy. You have these actors that are $20 million men or whatever, or women, whatever they're worth. But we're seeing movies that maybe have, like, for example, like The Substance. Yeah, you got Demi Moore in it. She hasn't been relevant in forever. So you get one kind of name and you make an amazing movie and people love it. You take like Terrifier, $2 million budget, over $80 million revenue. Uh yeah, in the world of horror, we know who Damien Leone is. We know who um apparently not, because I'm forgetting his name, David Howard Thornton. We know who they are, but they're not household names. So, but to make a good movie nowadays, people are realizing, don't spend all that money. Don't spend Disney, Warner Brothers, $150 million to make a movie because their goal is to make $1 billion to keep their shareholders happy. They've boxed themselves into that. Can you see me?
okay, yeah, there you are. You were
Oh,
frozen for a moment.
I left for a second. Where'd I go? But you look at some of these stores that box themselves into a corner where they had to have high prices, and then stores like Walmart came in and go, we're going to make this shit cheap and we're going to sell it and people are going to buy from us. So you can do the same thing with movies, and I think a lot of companies are realizing that we don't need a $20 million star. We can get somebody with a decent name. So because of that, I do see maybe an end to the Hollywood stars. But if you're not moving forward, you're falling behind. So maybe there's some way that they will revitalize that, or something to figure out a way to make people stars. Because I'm telling you, if the day that Jake Paul or Kim Kardashian get and God help us if either one already do, have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, I will never go back there again. I don't need to. If they're going to honor those fucks, I don't need to go see that.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that there's not a Kardashians star that just says Kardashians, with like the little TV down there or something.
Yeah.
But who knows? And it's yeah, this is because, you know, back in the day they had, you know, actors and stuff had handlers, so they wouldn't say stupid shit. And now you have people like Rachel Zegler who then calls us all racist, you know, because of who you voted for, or who you know, what your opinion is, or whatever it is. And you're expecting me to go see your movies? You know, back in the day they would have had a publicist be like, shut the fuck up, you know,
Yeah.
what are you doing? And then
Yeah.
her little apology that was obviously written by Disney, it wasn't written by her, you know,
Yeah.
just seemed, you know, it's like, so I'm supposed to enjoy these people. I'm supposed to go see their movies when they won't
Yeah.
just shut up. Just, can
Yeah.
celebrities please just shut up?
Yeah. Yeah. No, Zegler can suck it. And she was discovered for what was this, the musical, not
I
Rent.
think
Was it
I
Rent?
think it was West Side Story.
West
Is
Side
I
Story.
think Spielberg,
But she
yeah,
was
found her.
discovered, yeah, like she was singing on YouTube or something, and that's how she got famous. She's an idiot. She's just an idiot. Good news. It says no, the Kardashians do not have a star on the Hollywood
Ah.
Walk of Fame. So I googled it. I had, yeah, not it. It says, yeah, the Hollywood Walk of Fame has over 2,700 5-pointed terrazzo and brass stars along the 15 blocks of Hollywood Boulevard and 3 blocks of Vine Street in Hollywood. Not even one of them belong to a Kardashian.
That is
So
good.
that's refreshing. Good
But
to know.
I I wouldn't doubt that they will get one because they're just purchased. You know, it's
Well,
not
but
because
no,
somebody's famous.
there is a criteria. Before I close this out, worldwide, Red One is at 130 million now, so it's still bombing because the budget was over 200. But eventually it will break even. Um, but so for the criteria, it says, um, to receive a star, a candidate must be nominated, agree to the nomination, which I don't know who does that, pay $40,000, and pass a review of their career, awards, and charity work. They must also attend a public ceremony within 5 years. So all that's attainable, but pass a review of their career, awards. I mean, charity work they can go do, but awards and career. I mean, Kardashians might have some bullshit awards, but not, like Emmys or Oscars or anything like that. So I think the rules are going to kind of keep them out. This is interesting. Some other celebrities who don't have a star on the Walk of Fame. Wow, this is a very interesting list. These celebrities do not. Angelina Jolie very much deserves a star. Along the lines of Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt also does not have a star. Leonardo DiCaprio, Leonardo DiCaprio, Madonna, and Oprah all do not have stars. Very
Oh, I'm
interesting.
surprised about those last two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
So they probably said, "Oh, you're gonna make me pay 40,000? Oh, no." But that's where somebody donates the 40,000 for you. But I'm surprised with all of them. Brad Pitt doesn't have a star. Dude, somebody put a star down for the guy. Like, you don't, there's no debate needed. Just give him a star.
Right.
So, but
Well,
oh,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and Angelina Jolie has done a lot of charities and mission work, and
Oh, yeah.
she's done all that stuff. So yeah, that
Yeah.
does surprise me.
Yeah. No, she has the trophy African babies that she went over and adopted from Africa to make sure.
Oh, 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 oh.
That was the thing to do. That was the thing to do. You go to Africa and you adopt a baby over there, so you could prove you're not racist, and you check the box.
Yeah, she has said something. I mean, she's a weirdo to begin with, but I mean, like when she had her actual kid, you know, they asked like, what would the difference be between your actual kid and one of the ones you adopted? And she's like, oh, well, he's gonna have to work for it. So the adopted
Oh,
kids don't have to work for anything, but your biological kid does have to work for something, you know, which is kind of shitty.
yeah. Yeah, that is, yeah. She is a weird one. I mean, but she was a looker, and so Brad Pitt, you look at like some of the nut jobs that like Tom Cruise dated and stuff too. They've all these guys that have been through like a million different Hollywood starlets, they there's some oddballs out there, but I believe I forget which rapper said it, but they say that I forget the song too, but it's like money doesn't change people, but people, when they get money, start doing strange things because they can afford it. So, it's like these people are just, but so much of their lives, especially like somebody like Angelina Jolie, growing up in Hollywood, having a famous dad who I love much more than her. But you grow up in that environment, you grow up in a weird world, especially Hollywood. So some of these people, they're not going to have any true perception. And I do believe one of the greatest speeches of all time told them not to get up on there and talk about their political platform and just take their award and bugger off, or whatever he said.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Mr. Ricky Gervais, one of my heroes. I love him.
No, 100%. Yes. But yeah,
you are in no position to lecture anybody. You know nothing.
100%. But here's the thing. Red One was fun. What are you people that are criticizing it, what are they expecting going into this movie? You're seeing a giant polar bear, you're seeing a buff Santa Claus, and you're seeing a Santa Claus bodyguard. Eat your popcorn, laugh a little bit, and move on with your life. Like that's it. What do you want? I mean, what do you want? Clockwork Orange here? You want Dr. Zhivago? What do you want out of Red One? I mean, like, come on. It's not supposed to be a masterpiece.
Yeah, I really don't know, because I know some of these people just said that they didn't even bother watching it, that they just know it's bad. And then of course they mention its budget and how it's bombing. And it seems like, I don't know, like maybe you should watch it first, but really before you say that. But then, like I said, I'm guilty of that stuff too. So but I've tried to be better with it. Miranda Dudley told me that I should watch Picard season 3. I don't want to watch Picard season 3 because I didn't like Picard season 1.
Yeah.
So but it's better. It's better. It's really good. It's like Next Generation. But I didn't like season 1. I don't think I need to watch season 3 if I didn't like season 1. So it's like, I don't know, but at least I watched it. I watched a few episodes of season 1. I'm not just throwing a blanket over the entire thing and saying, it sucks. But I only need to hear 2 Justin Bieber songs to know that I'm not going to like his music.
Yeah. He has a pretty good one though.
So
kidding.
Yummy.
Yeah. It. But so I wonder too with this, and so I just pulled this up, this Forbes article about The Rock, and I wonder if people are hating on, like, are you hating on a movie because of the actor? Now I'm guilty. I'll do this. Like, for example, maybe Wicked I wouldn't have any desire to see Wicked irregardless of the fact that of this bimbo actress that's playing the Wicked Witch. But maybe people are hating on it because of the controversy with The Rock. And I wonder what the budget would have been. So, because according to Forbes, it says, according to a new report from The Wrap, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson often arrived several hours late to the set of Red One, prompting the crew to try and work around him. 3 anonymous insiders quoted in the report claim that the actions of the Jumanji star have contributed to a $50 million increase in the film's budget. So, and that, I mean, hey, here's the thing. If you're 7 or 8 hours late, especially on a SAG film where they can only work, what, 10, 12 hours a day. Now you've only left yourself with like 4 hours at most of production time. And so everybody else has sat there and wasted the whole day. You have to pay them all another day. And that's not, it's not a few people. On a movie like this, you're probably talking a crew of 100 to 150 people that you're all having to pay an extra day. You're having to pay locations an extra day, insurance an extra day, craft services an extra day, lighting. I mean, all these camera rentals, all this equipment, all these things that would skyrocket. And so, yeah, if it wasn't Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, anybody showing up that late would have been fired. And I just, it's kind of interesting to me that this movie was made for The Rock. This was made for that character was written for him. Who could you go replace him with in Hollywood right now? I don't want to see Vin Diesel in this. I'm not a big, I mean, Vin Diesel's fine, but I'm not a big fan of his. I don't want to see Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's old. I trying to think of who else that would draw to the box office or draw the name that The Rock would right now that could fill those shoes, that would be like the big buff bodybuilder guy. I mean,
that's why I'm thinking Jason, Statham could do it. Well, now remember, you didn't mention one thing with Dwayne Johnson.
Statham is good, but he doesn't have the drawing power that The Rock does. He's not on the level The Rock is.
I don't know. Rock's movies are bombing. Jason Statham's are not.
No, this is true, but I'm just saying celebrity status names. If you build a movie and you had The Rock and Statham in it, The Rock is going to be billed above Statham. He is just he has that WWE audience. He has a massive, massive fan base where Statham's fan base is action fans.
Okay, right.
Action, where The Rock has children's movies and wrestling and all kinds of things. So it's just two different levels of stardom right there.
Well, and one thing that was not mentioned in your Being Late article is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson admits to peeing in bottles on Red 1. It happens.
I mean, it depends on where you are. If there's nowhere, I would like to know more of the circumstances around that. Was there no restroom handy? Which I find hard to believe with a star like him. They're going to have trailers around, so that it's probably inexcusable. But hey, we shot movies in the mountains where we had to go pee in the woods, but you're talking a $200 budget to a $200 million budget. There's a little difference there, but
so okay, well, it says a man's got to do what a man's got to do. Damn, pop up, get out of there.
You know who they could have maybe replaced him with? Maybe, I think even more than Statham, John Cena. They could have given this role to John Cena. He does goofy roles, like Peacemaker. And what else has John Cena done? Because he has the wrestling
he's also
fan
in
base.
Fast and Furious. He's a comedy guy in Fast and Furious films.
Yeah, Suicide Squad. The Fast Saga. Bumblebee. I mean, he's got a very wide fan base too, like The Rock. So
yeah,
maybe, hard to say, but I just think I'm trying to think of a celebrity like The Rock right now is like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 80s and 90s. He is the guy. So I think this movie was written for him. And I thought watching it, if you didn't know any of this stuff, I thought the movie was fine. It didn't impact my viewing experience. So you can say, oh, I don't like the movie because I don't like The Rock, but to trash the movie for bullshit reasons because these people don't like The Rock, I think is petty, and I don't hold their reviews to any regard. Well, okay, but he's not big and buff, but Robert Downey Jr. is another guy that's on the level of The Rock actor wise, but. Or, what's his name that plays Thor could have done this.
How about Jason Momoa?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, he could have. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's on that
long
level too.
hair and all that type of stuff. So, well, this
Yeah.
is so on page 6 here, it says a man's got to do what a man's got to do, where a man's got to do it. Dwayne the Rock Johnson admits to urinating in bottles on the set of his upcoming Christmas movie Red One. In April, the Wrap published an article claiming that the actor was so chronically late to set that he ended up costing the production $250 million to push back the film's release. Due to his alleged frequent tardiness, the outlet claimed that Johnson would often relieve himself in bottles to avoid further delays.
I mean, there's
How about this? Just show up on time.
Yeah, very true. But I mean, you've got probably 10 million truck drivers driving around the country with piss bottles in their trucks right now. You got to do what you got to do sometimes, but you're right. If he just showed up on time, they would have had time for bathroom breaks. Yeah.
Yeah, and the truck drivers aren't making $20 million.
Yeah.
For one movie. So, you know.
Very true. Yeah.
Or for one truck ride.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
You know.
it is a shame that he acted like that on set. But I mean, yeah, here's the thing. The guy has fuck you money. So maybe he's just decided he's living his life and where nobody's going to tell him nothing. And if I had that kind of money, I wouldn't be a dick to other people. I wouldn't go pee in bottles and make somebody else deal with it. But I definitely would be on my own program. That's for sure. But here's my thing. If I made a commitment to other people that I was going to make a movie, I would show up on time. Irregardless of my wealth, just out of respect for the other people. Yes. So,
yeah, it's like so I'm trying to look up here, but he's difficult. Let's see. So, like I'm not seeing. I mean, there's 2000. There's Red One, Momoa 2. A film called Smashing the Machine, and then Momoa, which maybe is live action.
I don't know. All I know from Momoa is the Aquaman.
Oh, not Jason Momoa, the cartoon, the Disney cartoon, Momoa.
Oh, Moana.
Oh, Moana. Okay, Moana. I'm saying it wrong. Yeah. So it looks like there's the first one, the second one, and then there's maybe a 2026, like a musical. A live action. So he's doing a live action one too.
Well, there's a Moana coming out soon.
Part 2. It comes out in like 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think it's aimed to be more of a Christmas type of movie, but he doesn't have really anything listed past 2026.
The Rock?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but a lot of things the studios don't like to put out there. There's a lot of projects and stuff that don't get announced or fly under the radar. But yeah, who knows too? He may be getting more selective or whatever. He may just, what, I got enough money, I'm just going to go chill out. Hard to say, but yeah, I don't know. That behavior is disappointing.
Yeah, and back in the day, you would have had studios cover all that stuff up, so we wouldn't know it. But it's like I always felt like because Schwarzenegger literally passed him the baton, in the Rundown. Where they cross paths in the club, and Schwarzenegger, this is like right when he became governor, he just goes, "Good luck," and then as he walks past the Rock, and so that was passing that baton. And then I thought, okay, so we all love Schwarzenegger, until he fucked an ugly maid, and then and then had some kid with her and all that. I mean, Schwarzenegger was freaking perfect, until then. And now so I figured, okay, The Rock is going to be that guy, The Rock is
Yeah.
going to be the next Schwarzenegger. Everybody's going to love him. You know,
Yeah.
he could stop off at your house and you know, have dinner with him and let him sleep there overnight. And, you know, that's, you know, like he's like that type of guy, just a really friendly, nice guy. And then you hear about all this shit with Black Adam and Shazam and you know, and now with you know, with Red One, and I always gave him a pass for the Fast and Furious stuff because, I mean, Vin Diesel probably isn't the easiest guy to work with all the time. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pure ego. But
Yeah.
I mean, he obviously got along with Jason Statham because they did the spinoff together. So, but it's yeah, I just wish I didn't know all this stuff. I really didn't because I really like The Rock. But
Yeah, I say this a lot. The less I know about actors, the more I like them.
oh well, I found out some stuff about Denzel Washington today.
Fuck you. Don't do this to me. Yeah,
And
no.
this is like weird stuff from Gladiator too.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That's man talking about Gladiator 2. That's this week's big one. That and Wicked. And I'm like, I really don't have, I mean, man, I don't really have a desire to go see Gladiator 2, but I got to review something for the channel. I do a review of the new movie that comes out every week. And it's like, am I going to go see Wicked or am I going to go see Gladiator?
I think Gladiator 2, I don't, I like The Wizard of Oz. I read some of the books when I was younger. I like the original movie. I like Return to Oz. You know, I like Oz the Great and Powerful. I like the whole Wizard of Oz thing. Even the weird stuff like a Barnstormer in Oz, which was written by Philip Jose Farmer, which was a novel, and I like the whole Oz thing. I have no desire in seeing Wicked at all. And there's been so many problems with the actresses in that. And especially with, you know, the Wicked Witch calling the guy racist, the fan for just making a fan poster. I just, no, just once again, just shut the fuck up.
Yep.
And I just have no, I just don't want to support it. You know, and you know, what's her face who plays the good witch? I mean, granted, this is always on women, but I think you have to put men in there too, that they say that like she broke up a marriage and
Oh yeah,
nobody.
she's a home wrecker. No, here's the thing. She is like the Hollywood sweetheart right now. And God, who are we talking about? Ariana Grande.
Yes.
She is like Hollywood sweetheart right now. But everybody's forgetting, and it's funny because it happened very close to here, in Lake Elsinore years ago. She walked into a donut shop, started picking up donuts, licking them, and putting them back.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people would probably want to buy those donuts, but anybody walking in is going to go like, I don't want a donut licked by another human being. But there's going to be the deviants out there that are like, oh, please, can I have that donut?
Sure.
But yeah, no, she you know, she is, and I forget who it was, but she is you know, like a home wrecker. And she dated, what's that one guy? He passed away a couple years ago. I don't know if it was a drug overdose or what, but he was this like white guy rapper guy. But I you know, I think her PR team has done a good job of wrangling her in. But I just think if you probably got to know her in reality, I don't think she would be this sweetheart. And we see her on Saturday Night Live in these little skits where she sings and she impersonates other singers. And she's got a phenomenal voice. And she can sing like oh, what's her name? Shakira. She could sing like Rihanna, like she could sound exactly like them, but that doesn't make her a great person. Now, for me, she was young when she licked the donuts. She's grown up a little. Everybody deserves a second chance. You know, I don't really, she is not the reason I would not want to go. I could take her or leave her, but this other, yeah, Nimrod, dimwit, bimbo bitch,
Oh, just
Cynthia Erivo or
yeah,
Erivo.
more and more stuff comes out about her, and it's not even during the movie. It's just her doing Broadway. You know,
Yeah.
that she just thinks that she's so superior to everyone. And yeah, I mean, granted, you maybe can cut some of these people some slack. I mean, Justin Bieber, you know, pissing in you know, in like a bucket for the janitor to use and stuff that, you know, you have adults around you and you have a teenager, you might want to wrangle them in, but nobody wants to lose their job. So to somebody his age at that time, that was hilarious. But maybe now as an adult, he can look back and go, yeah, that wasn't too funny. I wouldn't want to be that guy either. So it, you know, like the janitor, but it's so maybe she thinks the same way with the donuts. But you know, yeah, that was pretty stupid. I was young. But if you continue doing it, you know, then that's the problem. I would. You want to hear the Denzel Washington thing?
Sure.
It's not horrible.
I'll have to go. I'll do research to try and debunk it to keep him in good favor with me. But
it's not horrible, but it's
okay.
weird. So he went on a pod, and then we'll wrap this up because we'll get to the 2-hour mark, and then we'll wrap it up. We'll give our rating.
Okay.
He was on this podcast, and I believe it was a gay podcast. Like the host is gay, the podcast is gay, and it's just basically there's like rainbows and all that stuff there. And he had mentioned that he did a scene where he made out with a man, and that his character basically like makes out with him and kills him. And the host, who's female, is like, oh my God, really? Oh, geez. Oh, wow. And he goes, yeah, but they got cold feet and cut it. So now the guy from Variety, the big Nathan Lane gay guy that interviews like Rachel Zegler and all that. I forget his name. He's got like the bow tie, but he's a frigging nightmare. He goes up to Ridley Scott at the premiere of Gladiator 2 and goes, well, what's going on with this gay scene? You know, what happened? Why was this cut out of the movie? You know, he gets kind of aggressive with it in his own weird way. And Ridley Scott's like, what are you talking about? He's like, there's no scene in that. What? And he goes, do you mean the scene where he like it's like a commissioner or something, somebody within the government? He goes, he kisses his hand and then like gives him a peck and then kills him. He goes, is that what you're talking about? Yeah. And then somebody next to Ridley Scott goes, you know, they rehearse and they do a lot of stuff before filming. But that scene is not in the movie. We watched the movie. There is no scene of him kissing a guy like that. It's like, maybe that was in rehearsals or something. Yeah. And then the same guy, the guy from Variety, interviews Denzel Washington. And he goes, I heard that your gay scene with making out with a guy was cut. And Denzel was like, what? What are you talking about? Yeah. He goes, no. He goes, no. He goes, I killed the guy. I like give him a kiss on the hand and then I kill him. He goes, I don't really know, but he does pause like, oh crap. You know, somebody saw that other interview because in the interview, he does say it's a full on man kiss and that the studio got cold feet and they cut it. But according to in these interviews, that scene never existed.
Yeah. Well, and right here, according to Variety magazine, they have Ridley Scott saying, no, that's bullshit.
He says that.
They never did. They acted the moment it didn't happen. That like they never shot. And so Denzel came out and said that there was a scene where there was a peck on the lips. It really is much ado about nothing. They're making more of it than it was. I kissed him on his hands. I gave him a peck and I killed him. So, but here's the thing. And this is where people are and I kind of think people are making something out of nothing here, because you look at, it's a thing going back in the past. Like even nowadays, look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady kisses his kids, you know, like on the lips. My grandmother used to kiss me on the lips. It was just a thing, but it was like a peck. It was never a, you know, tongue or whatever. So if you're going to say, oh, because one person kissed another person on the lips, that it's automatically gay, I think that is people just trying to start shit. Or, you know, it's just, it is much ado about nothing. And so I think if it really happened, I don't think it was ever intended to be like a gay thing as much as a sign of the times kind of
Well,
thing.
it's like The Godfather, right? You kiss the guy and then you murder him. You know, that's the kiss of
Yeah.
death. But
Yes.
I think the issue is he did go onto the podcast. It was a gay podcast. The girl is gay. And when he goes, oh, yeah, it was a full on kiss right on the lips. And I watched the interview because this one guy played all the clips and he played that
Okay.
entire interview. And she's like, oh my God, really? But then you
Yeah.
have this weirdo. So maybe he was just playing to her audience with like, oh yeah, it was a full on kiss when it really wasn't. But the
Yeah.
weirdo from Variety that was interviewing both Denzel and Ridley Scott is such a weirdo that
Yeah.
he's like, I want to see, because he's got this squeaky voice, like, I want to see Denzel Washington kiss a man. Are we ever going to get that? And Denzel's like,
No.
are you gonna write it? He goes, I have no scripts that have that in it. Are you going to write it for me? So
Yes.
it is much to do about nothing, which by the way was a movie that he was in by William Shakespeare. And but he did go on to that interview. And it's interesting that the people that I saw on YouTube that played those two interviews on the red carpet did not play the other one. I've only found one guy that is playing that one where he's like, oh yeah, it was a full-on kiss.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, to me, and so that stuff, it doesn't bother me. And here's my thing: if it happened or if it didn't happen, if Denzel came out and said, "I didn't kiss the guy," or "I did," and you know what, and it doesn't make me gay or whatever, I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with anybody who says, "Oh, it's an acting gig." You could kiss a guy. I could kiss a guy. Acting. It doesn't make
Right.
you gay. It doesn't. It's an acting gig. You're paid to do something there. It is a character that's doing this thing. So to me, whoever is putting this stuff out there, they're the people at fault. You know, they're the
It's
ones creating the
mostly the
bullshit.
guy from Variety, because
Yeah.
even this one person that did a video played all of his clips.
Yeah.
And it was basically from like Rachel Zegler. It was the people from Agatha All Along. It was, and every single thing that he talked about was gay. It was all about do you kiss a man, or if it's a woman, do you kiss a woman, or that's like his. And he is like a very well known Variety interviewer. And so he's just not some guy but this seems to be his big thing now is to do this. So, and you could tell like Ridley Scott was uncomfortable and kind of just wanted to move on. He even jokingly like tries to kiss the guy. He's like, well, if you want somebody to kiss so much, here, why don't I just do it? He kind of leans up to the guy. And then the guy kind of backs up, kind of getting a taste of his own medicine. And Denzel Washington is all kind of weird by it. Yeah. So it's like, this seems to be the thing today, in Hollywood, which is nice that we were able to watch and review two movies that had none of this. Yeah. None of this at all. Even Red One did not have a message, in that way. Yeah. It didn't.
It was just fun. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a fun, good movie that's kind of about family in a way. So.
Yeah. No, it really is, because it's about, bringing the father and the son back together, making the dad realize, he needs to pull his head out of his ass, and and reconnecting the father and son. So there was elements of that were ripped off from the Santa Claus, or maybe not ripped off intentionally, but were very much in line with the Santa Claus, who the dad doesn't have a great relationship with the son and the ex-wife and stuff. The kid and the dad getting in the sleigh and riding off with Santa, very much from the Santa Claus. When the Rock gets made small and he's taking the bad guy and beating him up, flipping him around and stuff, which is very funny. But that was already done. The Hulk did that to Loki in the first Avengers movie. So there were things that we've seen in other movies, but it was fun. I had a good time, and that's it, and if anybody doesn't like it, more power to them. But I hope they're just not liking it because for a legitimate reason, not just to jump on the hate train, because there's way too much of that.
That's what it seems to be, is to just jump on the hate train. That's really what it is. So, which is unfortunate. So, do you want to give it a rating? What can we do?
Yeah.
Let's see. So we had Reapers. What can this one be?
What would okay, so in the 12 days of Christmas, what is 5? 5, is it 5 geese a laying?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. We could say it's geese, sure.
Okay. Or oh, how many snow globes would you give this? Because the snow globes, they were making snow globes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You want to go with snow globes? But I am very curious now. We're gonna find out what the here we go. 12 days of Christmas. Oh no, 5 golden rings.
Okay.
Yeah. So the geese laying is 6 geese laying. Do you want to go with golden rings, or do you want to go with the globes?
I kind of like the globes.
Okay, it's part of the movie, so I think we go with that. I will give this 3.5 globes, as just like the other movie. I'm going to go with 3.5 as well.
I am going to go with, I'm going to give the exact same review, 3.5, but it's closer to 4, but it's going to stay at 3.5. But I think this would go maybe even a little closer to 4 because it did have a good beginning, middle, and end. It didn't just have somebody magically appear with a gun. So
yes,
the story problems were, and the films are roughly the same length. So we know that they could have worked something into Elevation to fix that. But in this, I don't see those problems. So
and on it's funny because my Letterboxd review from when I put it up there a couple days ago was 3.5. So my opinion hasn't changed over the last few days. I think to me it's not a masterpiece. It was fun. Some of the jokes fell flat. Most of them were funny, but some of the elements were copied from other movies. There was some stuff that wasn't, really original. But all in all, it was okay. It was a fun Christmas movie. I think I might have given it more closer to like a 4, maybe even given it a 4, if they would have just toned down some of the bad language, and maybe instead of going with like thongs on the beach. I thought it was funny, but aim it for kids so you make your money. It did not need all the bad language, and it didn't need the teeny tiny bikinis. I didn't mind that stuff personally, but just looking at the movie, make it for that broader audience, because people are going to go, oh, The Rock. Oh, Chris Evans. Oh, Santa Claus. Oh, let's take the kids. You don't want to take the kids this. So,
well, maybe because of Deadpool and Wolverine, so they added in some of that stuff too.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to do that, then do it. Then go for it. But it was like they kind of weren't sure, so I just I don't know, but I'm not hating on it. It was still a good movie. Yeah.
I agree, and I would probably say it's a lot closer to a 4 than a 3.5, and maybe on another viewing, a second viewing, I might give it a 4.
Yeah.
So
well, and to me, that's where it's a 3.5 is 7 out of 10. 4 is 8 out of 10. I mean, so that's pretty lofty territory. And that's just the way I kind of look at like, 3.5 sounds low for 5, but really, if you think about the percentage, that's it's a 70%. So,
okay. All right. Okay.
But yeah, no, it was good. But either way, I think we're both in agreement about both these movies pretty much for the most part.
Yeah, which is really nice. So everybody should go check out these movies, when and where they can. I definitely recommend both.
Yeah, I would see both. Yeah, and I don't. If you go to the movies and pay to see Red One, I don't think you're going to walk out mad. I don't think so.
Yeah, and then if you want another couple good Christmas movies, you could always go over to Tubi and watch AXEMAS 1 and 2.
Oh, there you go. You definitely could do that.
Yeah.
And before we go, I'll when do you think you'll be releasing this here video? next few days?
Oh, what are we on? Friday?
Okay.
Yeah, a couple
So,
days.
well, with that in mind, then I will give myself a little more shameless self-promotion here. And so right now on my channel, for anybody that's watching, I am doing a Thanksgiving watching throughout the month of November, watching Thanksgiving horror movies. And I will keep this quick, but I've posted something, the 3 movies that we're watching. So I on my horror movie Mondays, I put out a homework assignment, and that's for the movies to watch for everybody. And then we go back the next week and talk about them. This week we talked about Brain Damage and The Last Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Next week we are going to be talking about where are they? The homework assignment is to watch Black Friday, which is available on Amazon Prime, freebie. Poultrygeist, which is available on Tubi, and Home Sweet Home, which is from 1982, which is on YouTube. So I put up a post, not a video, but a post on YouTube with those 3 movies and a link to the one on YouTube. So if anybody wants to watch those and join me Monday to talk about them, we'll be doing that. And it's in honor of Thanksgiving. We've already talked about the movie Thanksgiving with Eli Roth, Pilgrim, Seance, The Last Thanksgiving, The Boneyard, and I think that's all we've talked about so far. But being Thanksgiving week, we're doing a 3 for this week. So
Okay.
I know you've got a lot on your plate and everything, John, but if you're interested and have time to watch them, you're more than welcome to join me for the conversation.
Okay. I appreciate that.
No pressure, because I know you got a lot going on.
Yeah, and I got on Sunday, I'm doing something that's a little similar, but it's only one time. Will Colossal will be joining me for my
Okay.
Thanksgiving video, which of course you are, invited to. Also, we are going to be just looking at Thanksgiving horror movies like IMDb or wherever the list might come from, and then he has made 2 Thanksgiving Amityville movies, so we're going to be discussing those, and then that will come out probably like Monday.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
right before.
Yeah. We went through, we brainstormed, and I looked on IMDb and everything to try and compile this list of Thanksgiving horror movies. And that's why I'm trying to get through it all this month, because we've all done the Halloween horror movie lists. We've all done the
Right.
Christmas horror movie lists. But we know there are Easter horror movies, Valentine's Day, which Heart Eyes. Have you seen the trailer for Heart Eyes?
No.
Oh, this may be the best. It has potential to be the best horror movie next year. It's coming out around Valentine's Day. It's a killer that has red heart eyes, who kills anybody who shows public displays of affection.
I like that.
It looks amazing. I saw the trailer the other night. It looks amazing. So everybody do yourself a favor, watch the trailer for Heart Eyes. It looks amazing.
I'll have to
Cannot
check it
wait
out.
for that. Yes. But there's so many holidays that have horror movies attached, but I've never done anything for Thanksgiving. So I thought not only just will we talk about them, I did a video talking about them a few weeks ago, and now we're actually watching them and kind of reviewing them throughout the month. So that's why we have these 3 this week to watch. So
Okay.
and with that, I will stop my shameless self promotion and I'll allow you to wrap up the video. So we're not here all night long.
Yeah, and I have Phillip's link to his channel in my description. It's in there with every video that I do. So you're always welcome
Thank you,
to.
sir.
You're welcome to click on that and go right over. If there's anything else you want me to share for this, just send it over to me, and I'll get it up there. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much about it. So I think we've covered everything and more.
Yes. No, it was a lovely conversation. Had a good time. A couple movies that we both really enjoyed, and some other, interesting kind of relevant conversation when it comes to, you're talking about Red One. It's hard not to kind of talk about The Rock and the controversy and the things there on the periphery, with regards to the movie. So I think it was a well-served conversation.
There we go. There we go. I think so too. So, all right, everybody. So that's it. We're going to wrap this up. And, you know, thank you for joining us. If you made it all the way to the end, that's awesome. Thank you. And if you have seen these, you know, let us know, you know, down below if you've seen any of them, if you liked them, if you didn't like them, that's fine. You know, to each their own. And, but, you know, just let us know. Leave some comments to let us know.
And hit the thumbs up button.
Thumbs up. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Thumbs up, share, do all that good stuff. So, all right, everybody, I will see you on the next video. And thank you very much. And take it easy and have a, you know, a good Thanksgiving if we don't see you again.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
And a good Christmas too, because we did the Christmas movie.
Oh, that is correct. Yes.
Yeah. And a good end of the world, because we did an end of the world.
Yes. Yeah. Have yourself a good apocalypse.
There we go. So, all right, everybody. Thank you. And I'll see you on the next one. Okay.
Guys, bye.
Bye.
Who's got the wider palm?